Skips, as we all know, is a character who is extremely funny, knowledgeable, and has his hands in almost everything. He is one of the most mysterious characters to us viewers. We know almost nothing about his life. Even though Skips is immortal to us, as we got older, we realized that this immortality is a curse. While he continues his life without aging, we are aging. He is condemned to see and taste the death of all his loved ones. Maybe it is more of a choice than a condemnation, but when we think about it, it makes us think about the question of whether we would choose immortality just to beat someone who killed the woman he loved forever. Even though the desire for revenge can be a motivation to accomplish certain things, after the mission is completed, we realize that it doesn't fill that void, because what is gone and what has to be done is done. This sad story is the real story of Skips. Skips was only 16 at the time. He was in high school and his name was Woxt. He was a thick-headed guy with strong arms who tried to solve every problem with brute force. When he talked about his love of storm chasing, he was very impressed with how he could drag her 320 years into the future. This self-confidence caused him problems that got him kicked out of 3 schools. And the last school told him that he had to graduate or he would never graduate again. This is where the real story of Skips begins. While Woxt was a daredevil, brawler and a rule breaker in high school, he kept changing schools. And at his new school, where he transferred, Principal Bennett tells Woxt that if he fights, his school life will be over and he will never be able to study again. And that's when Woxt meets Mona. Mona is a beautiful girl with a clean face. Although she is admired by everyone because she is the most beautiful and charming girl in school, she chooses to spend time with Woxt. Meanwhile, Clogbane the Destroyer was bullying Gary and the Guardians of Eternal Youth and couldn't handle Woxt dating Mona, so he bullied Woxt and provoked him into a fight. After this, Principal Bennett showed up and broke up the fight. Woxt had a great time with Mona. They skipped school, jumped around a lot, and had a beautiful romance. Now it's time for graduation. In the last days of school, Woxt and Mona are working for the prom, setting up the decorations in the ballroom when Clogbane arrives and starts provoking Woxt to fight again. However, Mona stops Clogbane and makes Woxt make a promise. Woxt will never, ever fight with Clogbane under any circumstances. After or before that, Woxt promised Gary and the Guardians of Eternal Youth that he would fight Clogbane, and Gary and the Guardians of Eternal Youth started making a golden glove for him to fight Clogbane. The fight takes place outside on graduation night. When Woxt goes to Mona's house to pick her up, he encounters Mona's parents. Her parents have their eyes on Woxt and make a promise to bring Mona back safely. As prom night continues with lots of singing and fun, Woxt must somehow dodge Mona and fight Clogbane, but Clogbane freaks out when Woxt doesn't show up and storms the ballroom. Mona, disappointed that Woxt broke his promise, accidentally dies under the rubble while trying to intervene. Woxt sends Clogbane into deep space because he has lost the woman he loves. Woxt has lost the woman he loved, but the Guardians of Eternal Youth want to reward him with immortality for sending Clogbane into space so that Woxt will no longer be a problem. Of course, this comes with a price, because Clogbane will come back to Earth every 150 years and threaten the Guardians of Eternal Youth and all other living things with death. Woxt, on the other hand, asked to be reborn as he was and to change his name to Skips, and so he became immortal. In short, Skips became immortal because he sent Clogbarn into deep space. The reason why he keeps jumping is to keep this memory of the woman he loved alive after he lost her. There is the visible part of this work and the psychological side of the work, because this immortality has a price. That price is to see the death of everyone you love. This is the same problem Tolkien's elves faced. Their immortality, their duration of thousands and thousands of years, makes it difficult to build lasting relationships with mortals. The mortal's lifespan is nothing more than a small blip on the radar for the immortals. At some point, after seeing fellow mortals age and die, they are forced to build mental barriers to prevent them from feeling that pain of loss. Eventually, they realize that the best way to avoid the pain of loss is not to attach themselves to mortals, because it will be a never-ending cycle. The best approach is to think back to your childhood. How long the summer vacations lasted, how waiting for car rides seemed to go on forever, how it seemed like you played all your childhood with your favorite toy, bike or friend. Now that you are an adult, days or weeks go by without forming lasting memories of that recent past. On a percentage basis, last month is not so much for a 40-year-old, but for a 5-year-old, last month is an important part of their life. In a nutshell, I think Skips will be fine, as he seems to be moving into the acceptance phase of his immortality. As he is about 300 years old, he has already said goodbye to his 7th or 8th generation friends. Come the year 3500, Skips will probably be even lonelier, unless he moves to the Death or Immortal Student Council. So it's worth repeating the question, would you choose immortality? I think if you've watched this far, it means you liked my video. You can subscribe to my channel, express your opinions in the comments, and like the video to support me. See you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.